Hello, everyone, and welcome to Creators in the Cosmos. I'm Jen.
I'm V. I'm Cay.
And with our three brain cells combined, just kidding, Kay and I share a brain cell,
Yeah,
but
I was about to
Jen's
say
got D.
Yeah,
we
She
share
is
one.
all wise.
we are here to talk today about the elements of astrology and break down what that means. Cool. Pew,
Snaps.
pew. So we were first just analyzing our charts, and all of us do have representation of all the elements. So it's really fun to kind of pull up your birth chart and see how many of each of the elements you have, because if you're really one element dominant or lacking an element, it's definitely worth noting in your chart for listening to us just go into this topic. But I'll say what all the signs are that fall under each element. So we have our fire signs that are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And then we have our air signs that are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Our water signs that are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And our earth signs that are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So, which one do we want to talk about first?
Fine.
Hmm.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
and with the fire, with the fire we go.
I mean, should we wait? Should we wait
No,
for fire?
no, let's start.
Okay.
That's right in line with the energy of
Thanks.
initiation and going for it.
It's
And
that Sag Jupiter on my ascendant, very spicy.
yeah. Okay, what's your take on fire signs and the element of fire in general?
Fire signs do tend to be impulsive. Um, but with that impulse comes passion. So everything is from a passion-driven state. So if you see a fire sign acting out of impulse, you guys see me acting out of impulse all the time. Um,
What?
it is
I'm
very
a Leo,
much.
just to remind everyone listening.
Oh yeah, Leo gang. Um, it is very much passionately driven. You see a lot of passion and drive when it comes to the heart space or even the like sacral creative region for fire signs.
For sure.
Um, and everything is, I don't want to say up there, but Leos take it, or fire signs in general, take it to a next level. So if you're feeling one baseline emotion, sadness, happiness, anger, um, magnify it by about four.
Absolutely.
And and that's the baseline that most fire signs sit at.
Absolutely. And yeah, so within each of the elements, like Aries is the cardinal element. So Aries has this like really strong, like these worst impulse control of the fire signs. It like launches at things like full force and it can't really sustain it once it launches. It's like just first thought, go to it. And then I'm a Leo moon, Kate is a Leo sun, and Leo holds the fire a lot more. It's considered a fixed fire sign. And like what that means is just when we are experiencing something with Leo placements, it's going to take us a while to move on past that. Like it feels like the intensity just doesn't ever let off until too long of processing time. I don't even want it to be like that, but it's like that, you know?
10
Yeah, Kay
years.
doesn't want it to be like that either, but it is.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
I, on the other hand, love my Leos. Simmer in it, stay petty. I
Mhm,
live through you.
mhm. And
Mhm.
that comes from our third fire sign, which will just hype you no matter where you're at, our mutable fire sign that is V's Sagittarius rising and Jupiter.
Me?
We.
I love my Sag. I feel the mutability within the fire. I feel like when I'm more tapped into my fire self, I for one have a lot more confidence. There's like such a confidence that comes with fire.
For
Some of
sure.
y'all have more blind audacity than my mutable self, but I love you nonetheless. You give me the strength to also have a little bit of not so blind audacity sometimes, so thank you for that. I also feel like for me in Sagittarius, like I feel that fire the most when I'm like on an adventure or um kind of just viewing life as an adventure versus like day-to-day mundane shit. Like I kind of play games with myself all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of wounds around fire if you have strong fire element because you can like really like burn people the wrong way. But I also think like everyone needs our passion and drive or the world wouldn't keep getting inspired. But I feel like people can really label and take out fire. Will attempt to. They don't, but they can
Yeah, I was
attempt
about to
to.
say, ain't nobody bring me down.
Yeah, we'll like stay on it and you'll really regret it. But I do feel like my fire has rubbed so many people the wrong way. But when you're with other people with strong fire, they're like unfazed by it. Like they don't even think
Absolutely. I
twice.
feel like I can really attest to that because I've lived in primarily a water household for the last 3 years. And this summer, I moved from interacting primarily with like very strong water people to very strong fire people. And I've never felt less, or like, sorry, I've never felt more understood in my life and just safe to be a little bit cracked out.
Yeah. We love
Yeah,
the intensity.
I feel
Water does
like
not hang.
I wanted to mention something about Sag. So I feel like Sag is one of the more, I don't want to say calculative fire signs, but probably the least impulsive out of all of them because the whole thing with Sag is like, I don't know if our listeners know, but like in the sky, it's the bow and arrow. So to be able to do anything with archery, you have to launch yourself back and you have to focus on where you're going. So it is way more a intense, focused fire than I would say Aries or Leo.
Absolutely. I think that comes most from the mutability. Like I feel like some elements have like they might be like water, but they're the most like fiery water signs. I
Hmm.
feel like
Yeah.
Sagittarius is the airiest of the fire.
Hmm.
And I think that definitely also just ties into the mutability of like Sagittarius is a shift of season. So like we kind of have to like pull back the autumn fall fun and shift into winter, which is
Hmm.
much more cooler. That's why I feel like I've heard someone referred as the fire signs, like Aries is like the start of the fire. Leo
Hmm.
is like the fire at its peak, like it's going, it knows what it's doing. And then Sagittarius is like the coals, which I feel in the shift of like it's the coldest part of the fire,
Hmm.
technically.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all have something to learn from each other. And if you don't have any fire in your chart, it's really hard to conjure up energy. Like fire instinctually knows how to work with energy. We can't calm down. Like it's not going to happen. So people lacking fire can hardly find like drive and passion to go after what they want. So they feel like very low energy a lot of the time, and it's hard to find something that'll all of a sudden like blast you into movement. This doesn't work that way if you're lacking fire. So that's where we have to be thankful for it.
Sucks to suck. No, I'm kidding. Oh my God.
Don't hate me because you hate me.
Such a
um,
Leo thing to say.
For sure.
you guys rub off on me. What can I say? So after fire, let's go hard opposite with water, guys.
Okay. Kayla, start us off because
Cancer rising.
me and V are lacking in the water department.
I'm parched.
So I joke about this quite often, but I have probably I don't want to say a crazy big three, but they are very they're polarizing. I am a Leo sun, Aquarius moon, and a Cancer rising. V, Jen, and I joke about my rising is the crybaby that gets beat up in the corner. So Cancer, although very like nurturing, very motherly, which I always have been because it's my rising, and your rising is kind of like your ascended nature in your chart. That's who you become, that's who you naturally are. It tends to get beat up and suppressed by my sun and moon a lot, but it always comes to shine when it is needed. Cancers always show up when you need them. They may cry a little bit. or a
Mhm.
lot of it, but they're very in tune. They're ruled by the moon. It tends to be more emotion driven decisions and heart space driven decisions, especially if you have a Cancer moon. You'll figure out that you have a lot of emotions that are controlled by even the moon phases. If you're in contact with water, you may feel like you're grounded more in water if you're any Cancer part of your big three or a stellium.
Yeah, I think so. Our water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And it seems like, as someone who doesn't have a lot of water placements, like the element of water teaches us to like merge and connect in a deeper way. And it also is like the emotional undertones of everything. So for strong water placements, like you guys are feeling into what people would be experiencing emotionally as a part of your processing all the time. So it makes it harder to let go of stuff. You merge and combine with the energy so much that like what is a memory is just as like present as it was when it was happening. Like you guys don't hold time as well, and it kind of is easy to blend with everything. So it's tough. Like can't like all water signs struggle letting anything go once they have leaned into it. And I think it's that like just impact of emotionally being so tied to something that just always will hold that aliveness of feeling.
I also feel like, again, lacking in water, but have very strong water family. If you listen to the last podcast, you would know. Um, for me, an observation role, definitely, like Jen was saying, a lot more feeling. But I feel like you guys are such strong fucking channels, whether you know it or not.
Mhm.
Especially the Pisces department, but Cancer is really strong in it. So is Scorpio. Like I see it in all of you guys, and it all manifests differently. But you guys can be such strong channels because like you tap into that emotion that's coming through, and like I don't know, you guys say the wildest shit, and my earth sign picks up on it and charts it away for later. And then you look at me like I'm
Yeah, it's
crazy.
like mystical and intuitive, and definitely, yeah, you guys are seeing another reality, or not seeing, feeling into
Feeling a different reality for
another
sure.
reality that a lot of people are just not even witnessing. And I think water signs get the reputation for like, yeah, our society doesn't really make space for a lot of emotion. So I think water is pretty wounded in the way we run society because it doesn't feel like there's time for emotional processing when in reality without
There's
the
should
water
be.
signs we like need that release, we need that ability to just drop time and connect on a deeper level. It makes you sensitive and empathetic and
Those are not bad qualities to
yes,
have.
exactly.
No, not at all.
Absolutely. We did a little Scorpio event on the last one, but also like Scorpio being a water sign, I think it's definitely like we were saying, like a fiery water sign.
Hmm.
But Scorpio also is so psychic. I think they can feel into anything. I think all the water signs are very psychic, but yeah, Scorpio takes it to a level of intensity that is really real. Cancer kind of responds more to what's needed in the moment, being cardinal. And Scorpio holds that intensity all the time.
I
Like,
also feel like all the water signs and they're in very different ways. Again, it all manifests differently, but I feel like you all can be a little sneaky in your own ways. For Cancer, I feel like it's when your feelings are hurt, you just don't want people to poke you, like you don't want to be touched. For Scorpio, I feel like you want everyone's information, but you don't want people to know your information unless you tell them your information.
mhm.
And Pisces,
That victim mode
I
can
don't
get
even
so
know.
loud. Thank bad. And I think that's the thing with water is you have to know that if you have a really water heavy chart, you probably don't have the itch to put things into words. You like communicating with feelings over words, but as we've all learned in our therapy sessions, right? We can't do that. We have to put things into words because it's just not really fair to not do that. And like, yeah, it's a big feeling, but we also can put words to it. And I think that's where water can get that reputation of being more manipulative at times, is like they're not trying to tell you the words. They're just like, can't you feel what I'm feeling? Like I'm putting it out there very loud. Like it should be obvious. But growth for each of the elements.
Well, that's actually a great question. So, what does it look like if I'm water deficient?
Yeah.
Because I'm probably not feeling those feelings as someone who is water deficient.
Yeah, I only have one water placement myself. And what I have learned is I think through things to then decide how I'm supposed to feel about it. For water people, like, okay, you do not relate to your feeling hits you, and then you get to process think. Anyone who has a really strong water placement, you're not like thinking for a really long time to decide how you feel. Like it's a real issue for me because it will take days of thinking through something and I'll be like, oh, maybe that should be sad. Like that actually probably is sad, I think. Like
I
that's
will
I've
say,
physically witnessed Kay like feel something for so long and then decide what that feeling is. And like for me, it's so painful to watch you go through, but I know it's like part of your process. And then we were just talking about Leo. Leo needs to feel it too. So like I'm never in a rush to rush you, but like I already have all the list in front of me. I'm just waiting for you to be done feeling so we can talk about the logistics of what's
the
happening.
problem. I have to force myself to have sessions to make myself feel something. So it's
so
icy.
It's icy.
it's actually freaking crazy because in therapy, I have the opposite problem. I will not use any words that actually describe how I feel because I don't know.
You can't put it into words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah,
that's your Aquarius coming out too. Like again, Kay's big three fights each other. Like literally in the middle of the day, she'll send me some text messages and I'll be like, that was your Leo, that was your Aquarius, and that was your Cancer, all speaking individually.
I have too many words and then I have to figure out if it's like simmering up a sensation.
Yeah, what happens for UK is you will start to give a little bit of a feeling, and then I feel like Leo and Aquarius just shove Cancer in the corner and is like, shut the fuck up. Shut up.
It doesn't work.
yeah, no, that's exactly what happens. And then I'll see 3 months later, I'm like, hey, I was mad about that.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, you were, buddy. With
And
that
I'm
being
like,
said, do we want to shift into air
hell yeah, banana bread.
at work?
Yeah, so our three air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And air has to do with like communication, our way of thinking. I am like very, very air dominant in my chart. V also is very air dominant. And yeah, you don't stop talking. So much thinking power. And yeah, but air keeps us like, I think the biggest thing with air that's so different than water is air is above the situation. So it knows how to see it from a different angle than what's actually happening. If people don't have air, they literally don't know how to imagine or view something from like a different angle. They don't know how to perspective hop, and all air is doing all the time is perspective hopping. It
Absolutely.
makes it hard to even have an opinion.
I feel like Gemini gets the worst rap, and this is my annual. Libra is actually the worst air sign. It's not
Correct.
Gemini. I'm sorry
Correct.
you decided to date a Gemini cis man. It's the cis man part that was your problem.
Tell.
Geminis are so, I mean, all air, right? We're all looking at different perspectives. Aquarius, y'all kind of are like watery air to me. Y'all hold shit close to your chest, but I know you see what I see. You're just going to take a little longer to cook before you say something. I respect it. My Gemini self, I never shut the fuck up. I understand that. But I think where people get offended by Gemini is we're going to give you exactly what we're processing as we're processing it so you can have the information too. Whereas like Libra's going to tell you what they think you want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So like they know the answer. They're just as smart as the other air signs. They're just as receptive as the other air signs, but they're going to give you the people pleaser answer. And if that works for you, that works for you. But for me, stop lying to me. I hope your tummy issues never subside.
I'm dead.
Thank you.
Coming for the tummy issues, crazy.
I mean, I got a Virgo stellium, but mine comes from overthinking, not lying every day of my life to make everyone else around me seem appeased.
Mm-hmm.
Pisces.
You can talk about some Aquarius for us, okay? Like that Aquarius air sign nature. You
Yeah.
feel into it.
So Aquarius nature is one. I love Aquarius people. We're fucking weirdos.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
For sure.
Insert
It's
raccoon sound here.
yes, and it is because Aquariuses think very unconventionally. They are here to bring society up and enlighten society in other ways. Um,
You
and
guys
you
are also
know,
funny as fuck. I
Yeah.
just want to throw it out there. Your out of pocket kills me.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Last.
the trash panda vibes, like unhinged raccoon dumpster things, like
Dumpster thing.
It stays
unapologetically.
on a thought a lot longer than Gemini and Libra. Like you guys will actually think through one category to like really, really learning it, which is where the other ones. So Aquarius is the fixed water. It's the one that holds form a lot better. And Aquarius will like at least stay, you guys will go into deeper rabbit holes and stay on a subject matter to understand it a lot more likely than your other two.
So not only am I autistic, but I have an Aquarius moon. So um I find with having an Aquarius in your big three, I will say my Aquarius is way more like internal for me because it does rule my moon. But I've seen like Aquarius suns. I don't see many Aquarius risings, but I do see Aquarius suns that like I see them and they see me, and we
Mhm.
just ignite the weird together.
Mhm.
It is everything about Aquarius is like unconventional because you did go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Like you just know everything inside out. It's like the autistic cousin who loves trains.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
I would even label you guys somewhat of like secret scholars. Like I feel like front facing people usually give Aquarius like a bad rep for like not really like lights on, nobody is home, but it's like lights on, they're reading, shut up.
Mhm.
yeah, like Aquarius has that like I always joke around with saying like Leo Aquarius double god complex, but if anything, the Aquarius has earned that god complex
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
they have just studied into whatever they're speaking about so much or talking about or feel about so much that they have become an expert on that topic.
Absolutely. And you guys just take longer to process because you're really willing to look at it in a deeper way. And air makes us think, but it also, air won't let an emotion stop the process of thinking. So, like, every single strong air element chart is going to know how to think through something to the point of going, like, yeah, this emotion is happening, but I need to put this off to the side because this is what like needs the attention, or this is what, I want to focus on. And yeah, can really put a lot to the side.
Exactly. And then you have Libra who just manipulate everyone.
Oh, we all have, sorry, this is not the best Libra safe space.
You
Not at
guys
all.
have not been the safe space, okay? I said this last time. I
Mhm.
love Libra. I do. You're flirty, you're fun. I think that's like an air sign quality that we can also like touch on is like I feel like air signs, we know how to flirt. Even Aquarius, you guys are weird as shit, but I love you for it.
Mhm.
Um, but then turn around and like Libra just will always do the opposite. So they're all flirty while you're like all shy, and then you get all fucking buy in, and they're like, just kidding, I hate you. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
They
I think
do
Libra,
what
the
benefits
issue,
them.
yeah, the issue with them as an air sign is that they're cardinal air. So like they have a thought and they go after it, but they do it with so much charm and so much extra like fairness and yeah, people pleasing and just charm that you buy in, but they're over it just as quick because Cardinal can't stay on anything for long. So it ends up not landing with as much integrity at times, but yet Libra also will always get you to challenge your thoughts in a deeper way. And so like one of the like positives I can say, since we are pretty bashing, is like I also really love that I will like learn so much. I have so much Gemini in my chart. And I'm like reading tons of books and I'm just like constantly taking stuff in. Libra always reminds me like what another, like the base layer, like thought process is behind something. So they're really good at helping me like see like I might be here, but then this person is here and I can feel the gap of what needs to be discussed and talked about better. Like, I don't know, they help with your thought processing, I think a lot in their like higher expression.
I know there's good Libras out there. I
Mhm.
just would like you to come to me because I haven't seen it yet.
Mm. Yeah.
Valid. Proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. Change my mind.
Any other thoughts on air?
No, let's talk about Earth. I'm
Mhm.
really strong Earth. What about you guys?
Yeah,
All vendettas.
Kay's our lowest earth groundedness. Earth is responsible for keeping us in the present. It also is really what keeps us like grounded in the now. It keeps us focused on goals and kind of this physical reality. And yeah, it's just connected to actual like earth and nature. But I think it's kind of our problem solvers.
Who are our Earth signs?
Yeah,
We got Taurus, Virgo,
Capricorn.
and Capricorn.
Yeah.
I cry a lot, but I am so productive. I have a grand trine and it's all Earth.
Absolutely. So yeah, Taurus starting off, I attract like a ton of Taurus energy. I think Earth is nice because they're going to fix your problems and needs for you. Really strong earth charts are very focused on the now situation. So, like, they'll tell you things that are very much like, this is what I'm doing for work. This is what's happening here. This is like what I've done with my day today. They stay in like the routine and kind of structure system like pretty effortlessly. Um, Taurus is the fixed earth sign, so it's the most stubborn. It holds form. It takes Taurus a long time to like want to change. They want to be comfortable and cozy. Capricorn is the cardinal earth sign, so it really can charge its stuff, but then it really doesn't have as much follow through. They can get excited about a lot of different things. And then, yeah, Virgo's our mutable earth sign, so it's a little bit more adaptable than the rest. And yeah, strong Virgo.
And this is
It's
why I look flaky as hell because Gemini, Sag, and Virgo, like that mutability really does allow you to shift so well.
yeah, shapeshifter.
But at the same time, not everyone appreciates the shapeshifter. My fire signs usually do, though. I appreciate you guys.
Strong earth energy gets shit done. They just do. They get shit done in the way that's like, I mean, I feel like I've make a lot of growth and improvement, but it's not always in ways that are tangible. I feel like I'm really proud that I don't cry about something I used to like always make me cry, or I'm really proud that I like used to get mad about this. Now I don't. Like earth goals are much more tangible. Like they own the stuff. Like you can see the work they put in,
I'm
you
so
know?
good at a list. You make me a list, I'll make sure it's done, baby.
Mhm.
Procrastination, not my deal. That's how my tummy hurts.
Yeah.
But I have a Virgo stellium.
Mhm.
So I feel like, again, it's that mutable earth comes out strongest for me, although all are present. I feel like I'm most disconnected from my Capricorn placement. I can't even tell you what my Capricorn placement is. I just know it makes a grand trine.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I like the earth energy when I feel like my air is floating me away because I also have an air stellium
Mhm.
in Gemini. Mutable stelliums. I'm not a flake. I'm just mutable. Leave me alone.
And Kay, you have an Earth Mercury, so you talk a little bit more like an Earth sign.
I do. I do.
I love
So
your Virgo Mercury. That's
I'm
how we get shit
very
done.
calculative and to the point when it comes to what I'm saying. So if I've said something, I've probably thought about it and I definitely mean it. Now, I do have a few issues personally. I got PTSDs with male earth signs, but that's okay.
Literally, like all the earth signs. There's no one special here.
No, just all of the earth signs.
That groundedness you crave, but again, you
No,
can't
it's
blame
my
a sign
seventh
on a cis
house.
man. That's not
It's
fair.
it's my seventh house. Don't worry about it.
Cap daddy.
um, I'm like, ooh, yay. But like Atticus says, where are my Capricorns?
Kay's son has like a double stellium in Capricorn, and he's so cute. Whenever he hears astrology, that's the only thing he's like really held on to is that he has a Virgo moon because we're Virgo moon buddies. And then he'll be like, Unky Adam, which is his name for me. And then he'll be like, what are my Capricorn placements again?
Where are
He's
my
very concerned.
Capricorns? He has to make sure they don't move, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it's
cute.
okay. He'll catch on to the rest eventually one day. I almost have them
Um,
memorized. There's so many of them. I do get a little confused, but he's asked me enough times now. I almost don't have to pull up his chart.
I will say in my younger days of my life, I did not enjoy earth signs mostly of any capacity. Um, I grew up
Facts.
in a fire sign household.
So Earth
So,
seems so slow and like so uneventful.
and like as a Leo, most earth signs to me, specifically Capricorn and Virgo, males that I've experienced come off very, very selfish and
Mm,
self-entitled.
I feel
yeah.
in their unhealed energy, which, by the way, if you haven't listened to episode 2, here's your fifth plug. You should go listen to it. We talk about literally higher and lower expression of each sign. Yeah, we were talking about that in last episode too, that like, and its lower expression.
And I think the reason it's so self-centered isn't because they're actually thinking about self, but the problem in this moment is so loud, they like won't think of anything else. But you're sitting there going, there's 10 answers to this problem. Like
Yeah.
it's missing the zoom out. It's missing like fire blows things off because like we don't have time to stay down. Like Earth stays in the problem and it comes off like self pouty when you don't have like a lot of earth. It feels like, why would you want to be so heavy? But I think, yeah, with wisdom, I've also learned that like that groundedness, like I rush past a lot. Yeah.
Wilson has some big feelings about this.
And earth makes you like stay
I'm
with
so
it
sorry,
a
Wilson.
longer, you know?
Oh, tell Wilson I said I'm sorry.
Oh, hey, sorry, but the rest of us aren't.
He's a
Speaking of
Libra. It's
Libras
Libra
being
season. He's
toxic,
unhinged.
she's upset.
That
I
was
want to circle back just a smidge to what you guys were just saying, and this is a little in Virgo's defense. I feel like Virgos and their higher to mid expression are way more willing to change their mind if you present the facts to us. I'm pretty stuck
oh
in my
yeah.
ways. I'm like, no, these are the facts. But as soon as you explain all of the facts to me, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm willing to change my mind. Now, I have seen in Taurus and I have seen in Capricorn because cardinal fixed versus mutable, where like they are much more like, this is where I'm rooted. This is what I believe.
Taurus will not let go of a problem. Like,
No, never.
so Danny says, I live with a Taurus, and he says that like it's romantic to sit in the pain and the suffering of it all. And just because I don't want to experience pain doesn't mean that he's trying to get rid of this like problem. That doesn't math for me.
It's also giving very strong Pisces 12th house placements. I think
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
being too hard on Taurus.
Yeah. And Taurus being
I can
ruled
see the
by
mix of the
Venus.
Taurus
two.
loves the suffer though. They really do. You guys like the problem is so loud. Like you just think that if you sit with it long enough, it's gonna shift. Like I've been around so many Tauruses and you guys don't budge from it, but there is solution. And not the solution isn't always sometimes waiting it out or seeing what changes with time. Like you can take action.
Okay, do you have any like off the top of your head, like strong Taurus energy you interact with? Because I feel like I didn't really have much Taurus. I have a little bit. My sister-in-law's mom is very strong Taurus, and I love her so dearly.
They're cozy.
But she's
Not
new.
not much. I have friends that are Tauruses, but like because I'm a fire sign, it gets hard to like keep up, like flighty
Yeah.
all the time. The running joke is like you'll see me in 3 to 5 business days.
Yeah.
Literally. I explained that to Nugget, by the way, when my little sister just got a phone so she can text now, and she was apologizing for not responding within like 2 minutes of my text. And I was like, no, no. 3 to 5 business days. And the only reason my friends have to text me within that time is because we're adults who live alone, and I just need to know you're alive.
Yeah, but I will say that Tauruses are also ruled by Venus. So it makes sense how they romanticize any sort of struggle and pain and want to stay there.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah, and Capricorn, like I think they have really strong energy at the beginning, and then when it doesn't last, they can be so hard on themselves. But like, yeah, Capricorn doesn't always delegate, so they end up in a lot of suffering too. Earth signs end up in a lot of suffering, and one perspective I've like thought about with Earth a lot is that I think like our society, like because Earth has to focus on the present, our society doesn't like necessarily equal hard work and you can do it. Like we are in like not that kind of living anymore. We are in like a recession. There's not like equal opportunity for everyone. I think Earth, if we were like living in the like caveman days and they could just chill and be with the plants and the trees and take care of the garden, like we wouldn't see the neuroticness that is earth signs. Like,
Thank you.
they just can't manage this reality because it's not a good reality, which is why you need air and fire to fix it for you.
exactly. Because if
You
they
know.
won't do it, we will.
Yeah, so that being said, with a little just dabble on each of the elements, yeah, I would always calculate how much of each you have. Obviously, the signs, the house placements, the aspects between it all really matter. And there is definitely like synastry between charts where it's nice to have elements. So fire and air typically understand each other more, and earth and water tend to understand each other a little bit more. There is definitely still some nuance between that, but fire and air are considered a lot more yang and masculine energy, and water and earth are a little bit more like yin, passive, like that kind of like feminine energy intuitively. And that can still connect different, but it's interesting to see how much of each of those you have because that also can give you some context. Like yang energy, fire and air is very like forward momentum. And I would say like more yin energy, if you have more earth, water, you tend to kind of go in cyclical motion. You're not always looking towards the next thing. Yeah. So I think it's good to calculate both and see because yeah, it can give you a lot of context. And if you are missing an element, keep in mind that that's probably a weaker spot for you and you want to keep an eye on it. So if you're missing fire, you might need to figure out ways to cultivate fire. If you're missing air, you might need like people to help you actually see the bigger picture. Like you want to accommodate for your weaknesses because it doesn't mean anything's wrong with you, but there's usually like kind of an empty hole if you're missing an element and you just have to fill that in some other way.
For our listeners at home, look at your birth chart and let us know in the comments if you're missing an element, if you find that you have like a really heavy fire, if you're more leveled out. How does your chart look? Since, all of us are sharing, I think it's only fair.
Yeah, love to know for sure. And yeah, if you have one
Yes.
that's really, really loud, you also might want to keep that in mind tactfully for reflection that, like, even though that energy feels so good to you, it might not always land well if something's really dominant because, yeah, that's gonna make it hard for other people to not see you in the light of that element. And you might need to, like, just keep that in mind that that doesn't mean you have to be defensive over it. It's just something that might stand out, and you might want to just either communicate that. Like I always tell people I'm very airy. If I move on too fast or I'm talking too fast, I promise I'm not offended if you tell me to slow down or repeat or you have questions or you just need me to pause because it's too much. Like you can always say pause button. That's how I advertise myself as someone who has lots of air.
Any last thoughts, Kay? Should we wrap it?
Um, I just want to say this wasn't a roast session or shit on any sign.
I feel like it's always going to be asterisks with Libra. I'm so sorry. Again, I do welcome it. I love Jen's sister has Libra rising, and so far I absolutely love Darcy. So like
V
could be
love
the
Libra. There's pain.
there's just pain. There's just pain.
there.
You've wounded me. I'm wounded and you are salt.
Libras send a hug.
Thank you.
And And Leos, don't be afraid to continue being your boisterous self. You just have to go find air signs that'll
Yeah, find
just,
a Gemini.
Yes, this is all to say, like, there's nothing wrong with you and how you're designed. It's just astrology can give us so much context to understand ourselves so that we can fill in the gaps. And yeah, own your energy loudly, but just also have that awareness and reflection on it. And I think astrology is a really good tool for that. That's why I love it.
And one
hell
last
yeah.
thing before we go, it is autumn. As we were recording this, we just passed autumn solstice, and Jen and I have put together a program called Falling Mindfully. It includes a 70-page workbook that does go over the autumn equinox, which has passed, but we also go over Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius season. We're going to walk you through some moon ceremonies. There's plenty of journal prompts and tarot spreads created by myself. And then we also have videos that go along with it that Jen created for us.
Mhm.
You want to plug those a little bit for me?
Yeah, there's just some yoga practices and meditations that you can utilize through all of the seasons. And yeah, always paying attention to where the sun is. So right now we are in Libra season as we're recording. I don't know where we're gonna be. But yeah, it's just important to always see where the sun is and just know the undertone element. And learning the elements is like one of the most fun, like early astrology things to do. And I think knowing what element our sun is in can give you a lot of context towards the energy that's going to be loud because the current sky is still affecting us. And if the current sky is really strong in an element too, we get a chance to borrow that energy louder from the actual sky. So always important to track.
So, if you want a deeper dive into our is autonomal an actual word or is my brain just making it up? Well, it's a word in my vocabulary now.
What does it
So,
mean?
autumn.
Oh,
So, so if you want to know more about the autonomous signs, make sure to check that out in the link in our bio. Also, if you want more astrology while we're away, make sure to check out both our YouTube and our Instagram. Also, you know where to find the link, and that also links each host's socials as well. So if there's someone you want to see more of, you know what to do.
yay.
We'll see you next
Yay.
episode for Cardinal Fixed Mutable. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Bye.